legislators, leading academics, and experts. Today, you will hear discussions and deliberations highlighting shared strategic interests of the United States of America, Kyrgyzstan, and regional cooperation in Central Asia and Eurasia. This convention also represents Kyrgyzstan's rapid transformation in the last 2 decades, from a newly independent country to a vibrant democracy.
Welcome to Washington, D.C., for those of you who are visiting. But please, if you're just visiting, and you're here in Washington, make sure you come to California to visit me as well. So you got an open invitation there. I used to write speeches for President Ronald Reagan. That was how I got my start in politics. And he told me to always, well, Dana, always start off with a little funny story. And I know it's difficult to translate humor, but I thought I would tell you a little story before I get into the meat of what I would like to talk about today. And this is a story that happened right near here, where there's a large office building, and an elderly woman had a pretzel stand that she had set up right outside the door to the pretzel stand. And every day, a businessman would come up to her pretzel stand, and he'd put 50 cents into her plate, and then he'd run into the building, and he didn't take a pretzel. Every day, same thing, put 50 cents in, and then he would go right into the building without taking it. Finally, one day, he put his 50 cents in the plate, and the elderly woman grabbed him by the arm and looked at him right in his face, and he said, "You probably want to know why. For 1 year, I've been putting 50 cents in your plate every day, but I've never taken a pretzel." And she said, "No, I just want to tell you that pretzels are up to 75 cents now." I hope that translated. But one of the problems with humankind, and I got a feeling it's present everywhere, is that there are a lot of people who are ungrateful. When you do good things for them, they are ungrateful, like thinking that you're going to charge 75 cents for someone who doesn't take a pretzel. The bottom line is this: I, as an American, and the American people, are grateful to Kyrgyzstan, grateful to the people in Central Asia now who are trying to build a better world for all of us. So welcome to Washington, but also thank you from the people of the United States for what you're doing now that will open up a whole new era of human history. Communism got in the way. Communism got in the way. It was one of those isms that prevented the type of development of relations between Central Asia and the rest of the world, and especially the United States, that should have developed long ago. Now we have that communism has been put aside. We can work with Russia, and we can work with Central Asia. There is still lingering threats to all of us, and I do consider, I'm sorry if I'm stepping on somebody's toes here, I do consider that China is not, until they have some reform there, I will not put them in the same category as our friend, because they're still the world's worst human rights abuser. But in terms of Russia, in terms of the Central Asian republics, we've seen enormous progress. And in Kyrgyzstan now, where you have 2 opposition parties, and you have people who are freedom of the press that's going on there, and your efforts to try to open up your country economically. I think these are all things that need to be applauded. The United States needs to, again, offer our gratitude for Kyrgyzstan in helping us during this era after 9/11, when we went to war in that part of the world, in Afghanistan. And so we deeply appreciate that Kyrgyzstan was so supportive of the United States during that time period. We look forward to working with you, and let me just express my gratitude toward the Turkic Americans and the Turkish people, by the way, just to say gratitude. I see Turkey as a fascinating and wonderful, positive player in this part of the world. Turkey has always been a bridge between the West and the East. It's always been that way. Well, the role that Turkey will play now in opening up Central Asia and making sure that we have vibrant economies and positive government and positive societies, that's a very important role that they're playing, and I'm very happy they are. So let's move forward, and I want to thank all of you for being engaged. The Kyrgyzstan offers and Central Asia offers the Western world a tremendous opportunity to build the future. So thank you very much, and I'll be part of that with you. God bless you.
Good afternoon, everyone, and I would like to welcome you to the Kyrgyz American Convention. I remember it was 3 years ago when we first started our convention series, and we started first off with Turkey, introducing about the economy, the political life, and then we went on, for the Azerbaijan, for Kazakhstan, and also for Kyrgyzstan and other countries in the region. And I'm proud to say that last year we had 20 business people and parliamentarians participating to the program from Kyrgyzstan, which was a great success. And this year I'm proud to see altogether 50 people, 50 business people, and including the parliamentarians from the Kyrgyz Assembly. That's a great honor for us. And I hope all the convention and the panel discussion series and all the talks that we're doing here with the help of the members of the Congress, this is going to contribute greatly to the bilateral relations between the U.S. and Kyrgyzstan. And I've been to Bishkek twice. I can tell you that it's a lovely country. We already watched the video. And what I saw in Kyrgyzstan is the spirit, the entrepreneurial spirit that they have. I think that's their biggest resource. And if we can do our best to realize that potential between Kyrgyzstan and the U.S., I think we're going to be very much honored. And why don't we also give a big round of applause to the people who contributed to this event, the Turkic American Alliance, the Kyrgyz Embassy in Washington, D.C., and the Kyrgyz American Association back in Chicago, and the Kyrgyz Business Association in Bishkek, GIA. Please give them a big round of applause.
Congressman мырзалар,
Dear ambassadors, dear Mr. Ambassadors, dear congressmen,
урматтуу коноктор,
dear guests,
бардыгыңыздарга бүгүн Кыргызстан менен Американын ортосундагы болуп аткан экономикалык форумга келип катышып атканыңыздарга мен терең ыраазычылыгымды билдирем.
I'd like to express my sincere gratitude for all of you for being here and participating in the first Kyrgyz American Economic Forum.
Биздин алдыбызда сүйлөгөн конгрессмен Рохбачыр айтып кетти, дайыма сүйлөрдүн алдында бир тамашалуу бир нерсе айтышың керек деп.
Congressman Rohrabacher, who spoke earlier before me, mentioned that before you start speaking about serious things, you need to speak something which has a fun.
Бул чын деле аябагандай маанилүү, мен тамаша эмес, бир аябагандай маанилүү бир кыска окуя айтып берейин.
This is really something that we need to pay attention, and I'd like to mention a short story.
Ар бир мамлекет инвестиция тартуу үчүн сөзсүз түрдө мамлекетте жакшы саясий система болушу керек.
Each country, in order to attract investments, has to have a good political system.
Мен жакында эле Японияга барып, Япониянын тажрыйбасын парламентаризм жана демократия боюнча окуп келдим.
I was recently in Japan and studied their experience in forming parliamentary system.
1946 жылы Японияга Америкадан 2 жаш жигит жана 1 кыз Япониянын конституциясын жазып берген.
In 1946, 2 young men and 1 lady from United States has assisted Japan to write their constitution.
Бирөөсү Гарвард менен Стэнфордтун бүтүрүүчүсү, экинчиси Вашингтон университетинин бүтүрүүчүсү, үчүнчүсү аял киши адам укуктары боюнча жакшы адис болгон.
And one of the gentlemen was a graduate of the Stanford and Harvard University. Another one was from the George Washington University. And third lady, she was active and prominent for promoting ladies' rights in the United States.
Япон саясатчылары, Япон коому ошол 46 жылы америкалык 3 жаш жигит алардын конституциясын жазып берип атканда аябагандай нааразы болушкан.
The Japanese people were not very happy that these three people were helping the Japanese to draft their constitution.
Анткени бул окуя алардын улуттук аң сезимине, улуттук ар намысына шек келтирүү деп кабыл алышкан.
Because the perception of the Japanese people was that this is kind of limiting their sovereignty and their dignity.
Бирок азыр мынакей 60 жыл убакыт өткөндөн кийин Япон эли, Япон саясатчылары ошол сезимдердин бардыгын артта калтырып, тетрисинче Америкадан жазып берген, 3 жигит жазып берген конституциясын аябагандай туутутуп, аябагандай чоң ийгиликтерге жетишти.
And now what we see that after 60 years of that constitution is working, Japanese people highly respect their own constitution, which was written by those three gentlemen from the United States.
Бул окуя сөзсүз түрдө биз Кыргыз мамлекетине, Кыргыз улутуна да аябагандай маанилүү.
This story is undoubtedly very meaningful to our Kyrgyzstan.
Анткени жакшы саясий система түзүлбөгөн мамлекетке эч убакта жакшы инвестиция, жакшы экономикалык форумдар, тыштан инвесторлор барбайт.
Because when country has no good political system, it won't be able to attract investment and economic forums to their country.
Кыргыз улуту, Кыргыз мамлекети 2013 жылы биз парламентаризмге багыт алдык.
Kyrgyz Republic has selected the parliamentary system in 2010.
Биздин мамлекетибизде бүгүнкү күндө күчтүү оппозиция,
Today we have a strong opposition in our country
күчтүү саясий атаандаштык,
and very strong political competition.
сөз эркиндиги
Freedom of speech,
жана мамлекетке эң маанилүү болгон транспаренттүүлүк бар.
and we also have one thing which is very essential for the government, it's the transparency.
Мына ушулардын бардыгы бизге Кыргызстанга жакшы инвестиция тартууга, жакшы экономика түзүүгө сөзсүз түрдө келечекте өбөлгө боло алат.
And I believe that all these factors and all these things we have today will help us to attract investments to our country in the future.
Ар бир Кыргызстанга барам деген компания сөзсүз түрдө ушул нерселерди изилдеп барууга менин оюмча чечим кабыл алат болуш керек деген оюм бар.
And every company which wants to come to Kyrgyzstan and invest in Kyrgyzstan's economy should take into account and deeply study these all factors.
Бардыгыңыздарга чоң рахмат.
Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen.
Добрый день, уважаемые гости, дамы и господа.
Rethink Institute's mission is to study democracy, peace, and dialogue opportunities in the world.
Задача нашего института – это изучать демократию и возможности сотрудничества по всему миру.
And we have a larger focus on Turkey and Turkey countries of South Caucasus and Central Asia.
И мы в основном курируем регион Кавказа, Турции и Южной Турции.
Today, here we are here to celebrate 20 years of Kyrgyzstan and United States relations.
И сегодня мы отмечаем 20-летие взаимоотношений между Кыргызстаном и США.
As you know, next year, 2014, will be a critical year for this relationship.
И мы знаем, что следующий год, 2014, будет критическим в этих отношениях.
United States is withdrawing most of its soldiers from Afghanistan.
США выводят большинство своих военных, свое военное присутствие из Афганистана.
And U.S. contract on Manas Air Base is expiring.
И контракт на военной базе в Манасе истекает.
So the question rises that how to sustain a continued cooperation.
И возникает вопрос, как же нам поддерживать сотрудничество в будущем,
Based on mutual understanding
основываясь на взаимопонимании
between Kyrgyzstan and the United States.
между Кыргызстаном и США.
I think this meeting and this venue is very proper
И я думаю, что данная встреча, данное мероприятие является очень хорошим форматом
to address these and similar questions
для того, чтобы мы могли обсудить эти и похожие вопросы
and lay foundations for future relations.
и заложить фундамент для будущих взаимоотношений.
Rethink Institute is contributing to this convention
И институт Rethink сделает вклад в эту конвенцию
with a special report on 2 decades of US and Kyrgyz relations.
особым докладом о 20 лет сотрудничества между США и Кыргызстаном.
And 2 panel discussions that will follow this
И
lunch.
после этого обеда будет 2 сессии дискуссий.
First of the panel is on US-Kyrgyz relations.
Первая сессия будет посвящена отношениям между Кыргызстаном и США.
And second panel discussion is on investment opportunities in Kyrgyzstan.
А вторая сессия будет посвящена возможностям инвестирования в экономику Кыргызстана.
Both panels features government officials from both nations.
И на обеих сессиях будут присутствовать правительственные чиновники из обеих стран.
Experts and business people.
Деловые круги будут представлены, экспортные специалисты по экспорту.
So thank you very much for being here. Enjoy your lunch and enjoy the rest of the convention.
Большое спасибо за то, что вы пришли сегодня. Приятного аппетита. Спасибо за то, что вы участвуете в этой конвенции.
Урматтуу мекендештер, урматтуу бир туугандар, кыргызстандыктар, жердештер. Ушул жерде Американ борбор мамлекетинин шаарында, Вашингтон шаарында чогулуп атканыңыздарга мен абдан ыраазымын.
Dear compatriots, thank you very much for coming to this convention. I'm very delighted to have you here in the capital of the United States of America.
Бул форум өзүңүздөр айтылып кеткендей өтөгдөй биринчи жолу Америкада өтүп атат.
This convention, as previous speakers mentioned, that is the first time in the history.
Анан ушул жерде катышып отургандар биздин коллегалар, элчилер, көрүп жатасыздар, Афганистандан биздин Казакстандын элчиси Кайрат Умаров, сиздерге чоң рахмат бүгүн келип биздер менен чогуу колдоп берип атканыңыздарга.
And as you can see, we have here a lot of distinguished guests, and especially ambassadors of Afghanistan and ambassador of Kazakhstan, Kairat Umarov. Thank you for being here and supporting this event.
Башка элчиликтердин дагы дипломаттары келип катышып атышат. Мен ойлойм, ошо сиздердин жардамыңыздар менен, сиздердин чогуу кылып аткан салымыңыздар менен бүгүнкү биздин сессияларыбыз бийик деңгээлде өтүп, жанагы ортодо болуп аткан сүйлөшүүлөрдүн жемиштүү болот деп.
And there are also other diplomats from other embassies in Washington, D.C., and I believe that with your help and with your contribution, this convention will be fruitful.
And I would like to thank you especially to Turkic-American Alliance, Mr. Faruk Taban,
Отдельно хотел бы поблагодарить Тюркско-американский альянс, особенно господина Фарука Табана,
who did possible this event.
который сделал возможным, чтобы мы смогли организовать этот форум.
Thank you very much, and I wish you all success.
Большое спасибо и желаю всем успехов.
Уважаемые дамы и господа, уважаемый посол Казахстана, посол Кыргызстана, уважаемый конгрессмен, уважаемый посол Окиф, уважаемый Фарух Табан, дамы и господа.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear ambassador, and everyone present here.
Спасибо всем организаторам, Американско-Турецкому альянсу, бизнесменам Кыргызстана, кыргызской диаспоре, которые находятся в Соединенных Штатах Америки.
Thank you to the American-Turkic Alliance, to all the businessmen from Kyrgyzstan and all of the political leadership of Kyrgyzstan.
Это огромная возможность рассказать о нашей стране, об инвестиционном режиме нашей страны.
It is a great opportunity for us to tell you about our country, about the investment potential of our
О тех
country,
реформах, которые проводятся в Кыргызстане.
and the reforms that we are undertaking in Kyrgyzstan.
Вчера мы имели честь встретиться с конгрессменом США.
Yesterday we met with a USA congressman.
Они обещали всячески будут поддерживать укрепление парламентаризма в Кыргызстане.
They said they were going to support every way possible the parliamentary system in Kyrgyzstan.
Мы уверены в том, что будущее Кыргызстана зиждется на 3 китах.
And we believe that there are 3 pillars that support the future of Kyrgyzstan.
Первое – это подлинная демократия.
First of all is the true democracy.
Второе – это путь парламентской демократии.
Second is the parliamentary democracy,
Это либерализация экономики.
liberalization of economy.
И как раз у нас есть огромные возможности поближе познакомиться,
And we have an opportunity to get to know much better
создавать бизнес-проекты.
each other and to create business project together.
И мы вас приглашаем в Кыргызстан
And we invite you to Kyrgyzstan.
Приезжайте в Кыргызстан, инвестируйте в Кыргызстан.
Please visit Kyrgyzstan, invest in Kyrgyzstan.
Огромное спасибо.
Thank you very much.
Let's go.